Hey everyone. Yeah, I thought I'd just come on here and do a bit of a review on the My Little Pony episode that I just saw, which is episode 23, I believe, because 24 is next week. And that is, of course, The Sounds of Silence. Now, this episode was actually previewed at San Diego Comic-Con. It was actually given an earlier release several weeks ago, if not a month ago or so, in Denmark and Sweden and Norway, and then a little over a few weeks ago, it was given a release in Australia and parts of Europe, where the English language version is aired just as it's aired here in the U.S. and North America. So yeah, it was actually aired. Let's see, and it aired, I believe, on September 1st. So actually, it aired on basically it aired about 28 days ago in Australia and Europe. And to say that this episode lived up to its expectations, to its hype, I think would be an understatement, because it did exactly that. And I'm going to say it straight up. Rachel Bloom did a fantastic job as Autumn Blaze. There's no doubt about it. I mean, when you listen to her voicing this character, not only do you see that comedic side of her come out that a lot of you are probably used to seeing come out of her from shows like Bones and several other appearances she's made in other series, but to see that she has a fantastic singing voice was just amazing. I mean, the singing voice Rachel Bloom has, I don't know why she isn't starring in more musical movies or getting more musical opportunities on television or in movies or on Broadway. This woman just hit it out of the park here with her song, I think, called "Let It Rain," in which Autumn Blaze sang. It just and the reprise was just as good as well. But my gosh, you talk about a great addition to the show as far as the character goes. Autumn Blaze is one of those characters that for a fact that fans are going to want to see more of in the future. They're going to want to see her come back again and again. And I've already come up with it. And honestly, my solution to that, if they want to bring her back, if they can or have talked Rachel Bloom into coming back and voicing her, I've already suggested that, you know what, if you don't want to do Rarity and Spike as an item, as a couple, if you will, then you gotta bring Autumn Blaze to Ponyville. You gotta have her meet the rest of the main six, as well as meet Starlight, and definitely have her meet Spike, because I think it would just work. I think the attraction would be there. Both at times can be awkward, and they have their different likes and dislikes, the fun-loving when they can be. I think there's something there that really could benefit. It can really benefit from Autumn Blaze, coming back into the series, coming to Ponyville, meeting the rest of the main six, as well as meeting Spike. And like I said, I think the best option would be that if you're not going to go Rarity and Spike, I can definitely see them going with Autumn Blaze, because she's a Kirin, right? Kirins are basically half pony, half dragon. So there you go. It's kind of a crazy joke. It's kind of a stupid joke to say, but hey, if you're Spike, you get the best of both. You get the best of both worlds. Sorry, I fumbled on my words there. But like I said, if you're Spike, you get the best of both worlds. You get the benefit of both worlds. And besides Autumn Blaze, the Kirin, I am going to say it straight out. A lot of people have said this at the forums, and I'm going to say it. they're beautifully designed. You could tell that when the focus this season came into exploring more of Equestria and boundaries outside of Equestria and introducing new species along with the species and creatures that we were introduced to in the movie, I can tell you honestly that they did some fantastic artistic work here with the Kirin. I mean, each design, each Kirin that we see in this episode is beautifully designed, and you could tell that if the Kirin ever came back, not just Autumn Blaze, but any other Kirin came back, you could tell just by looking at them that they have their own distinguished personalities. They have their own distinguished personalities, likes and dislikes. You can identify them. And, you know, I have to give props to the creative staff for doing this, to the artistic portion of the creative staff, for really putting in the time and effort for the Kirin. And you could tell they did the studying on these mythical creatures of Eastern lore, if you will, of Japanese lore, I believe is what they are. They did the research, and again, I hope to see them again in the future. Mostly, I know a lot of people want to see Autumn Blaze, and like I said, my solution to bringing her in is have her come to Ponyville, have her meet the main six and Starlight, and eventually meet Spike and go from there. Overall, the story, the episode was good. Can't take anything away from that. Autumn, Applejack and Fluttershy really played off each other very well here. Very believable chemistry between these two going on this friendship mission, because both basically, showed, why they have such a strong friendship. But basically both showed the comedic sides and sides of them we have not seen in a while. I mean, Applejack basically doing what she did to try to get the Kirin to talk at first. I think, what's her name? Andrea Limbram, I believe. Or Ashley Ball. I think it's Ashley Ball, isn't it? Did a fantastic job. In fact, both of them, I should say, did a fantastic job here. Ashley and Adrian played off each other very well. And it just feels like a natural chemistry when you pair two of the characters that they voice together. I mean, Ashley, I think, does Pinky. Adrian does Rainbow Dash. And, the same can be said when you pair those two up together, I think, last season. So, overall, the pairing of Fluttershy and Applejack was worth seeing this episode as well, because they worked off each other so well. Fluttershy actually having to get on Applejack for not listening. I mean, the fact that Applejack... I mean, I do like the comedic style here. I mean, the fact that they're going down this path, and Fluttershy, after she flies over across the pond, onto a little pond there, turns her head and kind of goes back the other direction. And Applejack, this is just great comedic timing, comedic moment, doesn't even notice what's happened. She's basically gotten to where she's at, to somewhat of their destination, or part of their destination, and she turns around and realizes Fluttershy's not there, and she has to go all the way back, and you see her having to endure the same situations she had to endure going forward. Great comedic timing. And then when she tried to get him to go down that path again, I love the fact that Fluttershy had to raise her voice. She had to be like, Applejack! The side of Fluttershy everybody likes to see, that frustrated, like, hey, she's going to just turn it up a notch right then and there. Here it comes. And she does that. And again, I know I sound like I'm repeating myself, but overall, they just played off each other very well. I mean, the fact that when they got into an argument with each other, and the Kirin basically mistake that for them, getting angry and probably being a danger to the village just as much as they were, because they basically discovered basically the similar situation, the similar reasonings or identifiable reasonings. The fact that they were arguing over the fact that, hey, Applejack basically pointing out, hey, there's a cure out there that can help them talk again. And Fluttershy's like, no, this could happen if it does. This is why they don't want to do it. And the fact that the Kirin mistake that for what they had gone through, and they said, oh no, we're not going to have that happen again. And the fact that you had the Kirin not wanting to go through that again by having them duck or get ready to dunk Fluttershy and Applejack into the stream of silence, that to me was a great moment, because here's these creatures that want to live in peace. They don't want to endanger themselves or the village or anybody else or any pony or any creature else ever again. So they take this vow of silence, this vow of silence, by dousing themselves in the stream of silence, thus showing thus no longer speaking, showing very little emotions, but they still show that. So the fact that we find out that it could even affect regular ponies, and the fact that the Kirin are doing this to Applejack and Fluttershy because they're mistaking their argument for something similar, it's really interesting. It's really interesting that basically at that time, you kind of see that the Kirin are willing to basically do what it takes to keep peace in the village, even if it means taking other creatures or other ponies and putting them into the stream of silence so they don't cause trouble. There's not an argument or anything like that. And the way that Applejack and Fluttershy tried to basically explain, hey, whoa, this was a mistake. We weren't really arguing. We were just having a civil... Applejack basically tried to play it off as a civil discussion. It's like, whoa, is this a civil disagreement, folks? Nothing wrong here, nothing bad here. So, yeah, overall, though, when you look at Applejack and Fluttershy and the way they meshed together in this episode was just great. The fact that they even argued towards the end and then just got a giggle out of it when Fluttershy pointed out, yeah, we're arguing now too, don't you see that? And they kind of get a giggle out of it and kind of explain, see, even friends like us can have disagreements, but it doesn't mean we should silence ourselves. We should keep our feelings within, or how we feel, or what we want to say within, because we're afraid of anger getting out. And Fluttershy's message to them too was, hey, if you are going to get angry, go somewhere where you're not going to harm anybody. Go somewhere, let that anger out, and there you go. In fact, the best example of that was when obviously the Kirin saw the error of their ways and tried to communicate, one of them anyway, tried to communicate with Autumn Blaze and Apple and Flutters to explain they wanted the cure. Autumn Blaze's frustration was just hilarious. She's like, she's like, big baby fish and this. And she's like, and finally she gets to the point, like, she's like, write it down. And then she's like, oh, this is making me furious. And then the moment that a lot of people have been clipping over and over and jiffing over and over of her going like, would you excuse me? I'll be right back. And she goes right behind the rock and whoop! This episode was so good. So good, so beautifully animated. I can't say enough. Overall, in the end, the Kirin do get the antidote. Because at first, you think there's no way, there's no antidote because Autumn Blaze says, she took the last of it. But then we find out that the flowers that Fluttershy was helping the squirrels use earlier to kind of protect their tree or keep the home safe or something was actually the flower, I think, was it Fool something? I can't think of it right now, but it was just kind of like this jasmine-like flower that was needed to make the cure. So in other words, we saw the cure to what was going on at the beginning, and Fluttershy, when they go back, when they follow the squirrel to where he knows where the flowers are, Fluttershy's reaction is like, wait a minute, that flower I helped you put there, that's the antidote? Well, she didn't say that, but her reaction pretty much spoke those kind of words. Like, She's like, that's the flower? The one I helped you plant? So, yeah, that was a great reaction by Fluttershy by kind of being shocked that the flower she helped them plant was the flower that's needed to make the cure. And of course, Applejack apologizes for her actions earlier and explains that, hey, if it wasn't for you being who you are, Fluttershy, and helping these squirrels out, we wouldn't have found this flower. And then Fluttershy kind of apologizes back, saying, hey, if it weren't for you being honest about what needs to be done, we wouldn't gotten to this to this part where we are now, or to this portion of where we are now. So overall, the episode was good, and like I said, the Kirin did get the cure. I mean, Autumn Blaze, I'll say this, Autumn Blaze, she loves exposition. She loves to talk. In fact, when Fluttershy finally meets her, Fluttershy's like, she can talk? And Applejack's reaction is like, you have no idea. I gotta giggle out of that because, no offense, I love my family. No offense, I love my family, but that kind of reminds me of my second oldest sister and my mom. It's like, again, no offense, I love my family. God knows I do. But it reminds me so much of that because it's like, wait a minute. Because Applejack's response to Fluttershy is like, you have no idea. It's kind of the same response, we as family members would have to members of our families that like to talk. We like, man, you have no idea how much she likes to talk, or this person likes to talk. So, again, and I love my family, I really do, and that's just a trait that they have. They like to talk. It's a family trait. Heck, I got it. You could see that already, or you could tell that already. But the point is, overall, Autumn Blaze was just a great addition, and Rachel Bloom really brought it in this episode. And I hope they bring her back. I hope they have brought her back to bring Autumn Blaze back in the next season. Because I think it'll be worth it, especially if they go the direction I think they could go. But overall, like I said, in the end, the Kirin do get the cure. We finally hear some of them speak. What is it? What's her name? Rainmaker, I think, is basically the leader of the group, and she's somewhat, as some fans put it, the Celestia of the village. So it'd be nice, and that's something too. I want to see Rainmaker, I think that's her name, meet Celestia. That would be an awesome moment right there. But overall, though, the episode was great, and again, it ends with a reprise of the song. And Applejack and Fluttershy's cutie marks glowing, and them both giving each other high hoops, or high fives, if you will, in our case. So overall, great episode. Highly recommend you guys check it out if you can. It will be on demand if you have cable on demand, like Xfinity or AT&T, as well as it will be available on Amazon and iTunes and all that, tomorrow, the next day. So, and it will be replayed tomorrow morning on Discovery Family around, I think, 7:30. And it's going to be replayed at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning, next Saturday. But overall, just a tremendous episode, just a great episode. Can't highly recommend it anymore. And the reason I'm doing this review the way I am is because I actually did sit and watch the episodes. I mean, I do DVR the episodes because, they come on Saturday, and of course I live with family, so I don't think my family, mostly my mom's going to want to sit through, me DVD recording an episode when it comes on. So I do DVR it. The only problem is I had to erase the original recording because basically I had a reminder come on there for a baseball game. So I had to erase the original recording and re-record so that I can have it without that reminder on there. So now I'm down to about 59 minutes. So my assumption is what I'm probably going to have to do is carefully try to put all the rest of the episodes on there. But I think what I may do is just put Father Knows Beast, and finish it off, and then add one more disc for an hour long and just put the remaining last 2 episodes on there. So basically, season 8 will go and be like a 2.5 disc set for me recording. But anyway, besides that though, I do, like I say, highly recommend you check out Sounds of Silence. I think you'll really enjoy it. Rachel Bloom just brings it in her appearance as Autumn Blaze. And I can't say any more than I've already have, and I'm sure a lot of people have. I mean, Cartoon Gentleman has given it high regards. Everybody at the MLP forums have given it high regards. Golden Fox has given it high regards. I can only imagine what Ms. Anthropone is going to give it, what Dr. Wolf's going to give it. So overall, just a great episode. Highly recommend it. I know I'm repeating myself a little bit, so I do apologize. But check it out, guys, when you get the opportunity. So, and I believe they did say that the Let It Rain song is now available to download somewhere. So overall, oh, and that's one more thing. I will say that the song felt very Disney-ish. And what I mean by Disney-ish, I'm talking Renaissance-like Disney-ish. Where they speak in the middle of the song as part of it, felt very Disney-like. I'll put it this way. And the guy that wrote the episode, apparently I think has had credits doing Broadway musicals, so he obviously knows what he's doing. So he obviously wrote the episode, and I think he even wrote the song along with Daniel Ingram. So great job overall there. But again, I highly recommend checking out this episode. That's all I'm going to say about it, guys. So till next time, God bless, take care, I am out.